I'm pulling this tier list from the depths of Wanderich, or the depths of Hueco Mundo. I'm not sure which one's in hell, but this is officially a Shikai tier list for Type Soul. I'm not even going to take long. I'm going to make two versions of this tier list. The first variation is going to be me comparing the Shikais against each other, which is the tier list that I'm going to rank first. And at the end of the video, I will put a tier list of just all of the Shikais in general. So just how they stand alone inside the game. Outside of that, there's going to be timestamps below for everything, and I will try not to take long. But another thing is that this is just fully my opinion, and we are officially going to start this tier list off with Blood Shikai. Now, Blood Shikai is going in SS+. The main reason, or I guess I should get this out early, the main qualification for going inside SS Plus would be being able to just overwhelm your opponent, or you just have some type of ability that makes it very hard for the person to fight you or to kill you. And Blood has that. The main thing with Blood is that when you land your skills, your blood bar regenerates, and essentially you are healing inside of a fight. So imagine, right, you're just using Blood and you're either like a speed or candle build, and you're constantly healing inside the fight. Over time, the healing will probably like go up to around what, 1 bar or like 1.5 bars, but that is still 1.5 bars of healing inside of a fight where nobody else can heal. So just imagine that. And then that's not even considering the builds inside this game. If you go like Kendo, and let's say that you go Blood with Mortal Ties where your enemy has anti-heal on them and you're healing, it's just like, it is so OP. Now, the Blood Shikai, remember, this isn't talking about the Bankai in any way or shape or form. It's good, but there definitely are better. I feel like SS Plus is still really deserving for Blood though, because being able to heal inside the fight is just a really overwhelming factor. And I also forgot to say this at the start, but I've fought every Shikai on this tier list except Ice, so if you want like some background proof as to why I'm ranking these, then there you go. And then we have Creation. I'm going to put Creation inside B tier. The Creation Shikai is just mid. And I am strictly saying the Creation Shikai. Creation Shikai, I've had it for a little bit. The best skill from it is like the one where you twirl your blades and then they come back to you. And I'm pretty sure that it just ends at that. One of the skills, I'm gonna be so honest with you, I completely forgot what it is because the Shikai is just so mid. And then the other one, like you place a spear down, and I'm sure if you do something, it would like auto track or just fling towards the other person. Creation, it's just like very mid as a standalone Shikai. I feel like the best way to use it would have to be like you're using a speed build and you're being carried by like the speed skills, and the Creation is just the bonus on top of that. So if you compare like the Creation Shikai standalone to all the other Shikais on this tier list, it is really mid and you can definitely do better. Now we have Flame. Flame is going in S tier. This Shikai had to get changed to a 10%. It was originally a common, but now Flame is officially a rare, so it's a 10%. And I think it completely deserves this ranking. The thing with Flame is that you just create a huge amount of pressure on your opponent to the point where they can't really escape when they're fighting you. Now, let me reword that. They can escape depending on like their build, like if they're speed. But Flame just creates a huge amount of pressure. You have a gap closer, which is your Z skill. It's like a fire palm. Then after that, your up tilt skill, which is X, like your Entei, is just so good. You can combo off of that skill with so much skills. Like you can use Entei, and then if you're Kendo, you can move stack it with the other Kendo barrage, which is like Sinma Tarashi or something. I don't know. You can just stack speed skills inside the Flame comboing like tornado type of skill, and it just does so much damage. The only bad thing about Flame is that like the C skill, it's pretty lackluster, but it's just like a nice small little gap closer that also does bonus damage and does ragdoll your opponent if you do hit it. But the main thing with Flame is just the amount of pressure that you're able to create on your opponent. Anybody with like a Flame speed build or even a Flame Candle build can vouch. Flame is one of like the best Shikais in this tier list. And now we have the Ice Shikai. I'm going to put Ice in front of Blood and SS Plus. I feel like I don't need to really talk about it, but Ice was the one Shikai that I have yet to really see or fight inside the game. But I watched a video on it, and the Ice Shikai actually freezes you. Now, I just want to say this, in a game where the combat is very fast paced, and if you mess up once, you do get punished for it, imagine something that freezes you. I feel like I don't even need to say more. A Shikai that freezes you And not only that, it also has a counter attack. It's just disgusting. Now the freeze, you do have to land ice daggers for it, and I'm not sure if any of the other skills in Shikai like freezes you, but you just really do have to factor in how crazy that would be. You standing completely still, taking damage because you can't do anything because you're frozen solid. Yeah, I feel like I don't really need to talk about ice anymore, but ice is extremely good. It's a legendary for a reason, and I have it in front of blood if it's like a Shikai tier list. Now we have Shadow. The Shadow Shikai, I'm going to put it inside of A tier. Shadow Shikai is very good. I feel like Shadow is one of those Shikais that it would have to take more skill for it to be shown that it's good, versus using a Shikai that's just raw outburst damage like Flame. I would kind of put Shadow Shikai in like a utility type of class, because the Shadow Shikai is more so used as like an extender to the skill tree that you're going. So let's say that you go like Shadow Kendo, and then after that, once you land Tendril, boom, you just use Mortal Ties while they're floating inside the air with Tendril. Shadow Shikai is very good depending on the person using it, but comparing it to like the rest of the Shikais, you can kind of do that and also get the damage. So you can have your Shikai as like a utility and do damage, and it just outshines Shadow. Shadow's extremely good though. Me personally, when I used it, I wasn't a fan of it, but I have seen some Shadow users go crazy with this Shikai, and I mean crazy, and it definitely does deserve to be in like A tier minimum when you're comparing it to all the other Shikais. And next we have Confusion. I'm going to put Confusion also in A tier, but I'm not sure if I want to put it in front of Shadow. I'm gonna put it behind. I'm gonna put it in front of Shadow. And the reason as to why is just because of that one Confusion skill that carries the whole entire Shikai kit, and that's going to be the skill that actually confuses you. And that skill is the one that flips your screen over, and it doesn't even like invert your keys, it just randomly messes them up. So it's like, usually when people use the skill on you, the only thing that you can do is just walk or press your own skills. Now, the problem with that is that if this skill gets landed on you and you're obviously confused, you don't know what you're doing. So the person with Confusion, if they just time their skills right, they can confuse you. Then if they have speed, they can do like Waterfall Dance or Fast Feint on you, which would just create so much pressure and damage onto the person that you're fighting. Confusion is extremely good. The other two skills don't really shine as much as the skill that actually confuses you, but Confusion does have teleporting M1s if you land like the first. I think you have to land the first part of a skill, and then you'll get teleporting M1s. Not entirely, but like it teleports one time for like an M1. And you also have a counter attack. I've seen a lot of Confusion users complain about the counter attack, but it's still a counter attack nonetheless. So Confusion's a really good Shikai. It's definitely a better utility than Shadow if you're just rating it off like base, but Confusion is extremely good, extremely good. And now we have Ink. Ink is, I'm putting it in front of Blood just for the Shikai, just for the Shikai. And the reason as to why I'm doing that is because when you're fighting an Ink user, you can't really move once they start to land their M1s. So when the Ink user's fighting you and they actually start to like splatter their ink on you, you are kind of like, you're not entirely stunned, but your movement speed is heavily reduced. And I'm not sure if this is true, but every time I fight my friend who has Ink, my Ryatsu usually reaches 0. So the only I'm not gonna count that in for this video. I'm only gonna talk about something that I know that's guaranteed true, and it's the fact that your speed is heavily reduced when you're fighting an Ink user. You're like, if an Ink user uses their skills the right way and they're bum rushing you, you just can't move. And they also have a skill that disables your skills. So on top of being slowed down, you're getting your skills disabled. It just creates a really negative feeling. And if they also go speed on top of that, imagine getting hit with barrages. You can't move and your skills are disabled. It happened to me before. Ink is very brain dead. It is like an extremely good Shikai, extremely good Shikai, and I do have Ink Shikai in front of Blood Shikai, but as you can see, all legendaries are inside SS tier. And then we have Thunder. I'm going to put Thunder in S tier. I'm going to put Thunder in front of Flame inside S tier. Now, I feel like you can make the argument for them both being switched, but the main reason as to why I put Thunder in front of Flame in S tier is just because Thunder is hard to just escape. And it's because it has a lot of instant dashes. Now, Thunder's a Shikai that I personally use, and a Thunder speed build is one of the most toxic things ever inside of this game. And the main reason as to why I'm saying that is just because you are moving so fast around your opponent and piling on damage on top of damage. Thunder is one of those like utility damaging Shikais to me, because you can use your skills to either get some distance between your opponent and you also stun them as well. The Thunder, it has like a thunder effect where your opponent's kind of shocked. It's not as crazy as the ink effect, but it does slow you down a little bit. It lasts for like 1 second or 2 seconds at most, so it is definitely not as crazy as the ink effect, but it is still an effect. And that makes sense because it's like literally lightning. With Thunder, if you use your Z skill, it's like a down slam that can start up a combo if you have like speed. You can use your Z skill into your X skill. You can combo extend with your skills. It is so brain dead if you stack it on top of speed. And on top of that, your C skill with Thunder, which is kind of like a thunderclap and flash, depending on where you use it. If you use it and you happen to like get right behind your opponent, you can also combo extend for that as well, because it creates a little thundercloud that comes down and strikes the person. And yeah, it also does a lot of damage. Thunder's an extremely good Shikai. I'm surprised that this one, like Thunder's not inside the rare category like Flame, because these two Shikais just do so much damage that I would assume they would both be rares. Now we have Water. Water, I'm going to put it, personally, I'm going to put Water in front of Flame. I'm not sure, but Water is guaranteed S tier. It is guaranteed S tier. I'm gonna put Water behind Flame, only because of the burn damage with Flame. Like, that's it. Water is another one of those utility Shikais. It does not do the most damage, but the things you can do with Water is disgusting. Like, your opponent is just entirely soaked. Then you're just constantly chasing after them while they're soaked. Yeah. If I'm being serious though, the main thing with Water that I'm thinking of is like a Water Kendo. So Water, I think it's Sprout skill, which is the C skill. If you land that skill and you're a Kendo and you have Mortal Ties, which in turn leads to you being able to perfectly land Mortal Ties. And once you land Mortal Ties, the fight is heavily inside the favor of the person who landed it. It is rare for the person who lands Mortal Ties to actually lose while they have it on, because that skill is just so extremely good, and I personally love it. Back to Water though. Yeah, being able to have a skill that truly confirms into Mortal Ties is absolutely insane. And the wave, like the wave that comes out and it also follows you back because it hits 2 times, it creates a lot of pressure on your opponent. Water is an extremely good Shikai, and I feel like a lot of people underrate it because it just looks mid, but Water is so good. Please do not sleep on Water. I promise you, it is one of the best Shikais that you can get inside this game. It's inside the top 6 on my tier list. And now we have Wind. Wind Shikai, it's I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier. It's just okay. Like, you can use Wind. It's just that the main issue I would say to have with Wind is the fact that you have to land your arc to even use any of your other skills. So like with Wind, you have to land your Z skill to use your X or your C skill, and once you land it, it's actually very good. It's just that the main thing Wind users probably do, like, they create a barrier around you that flings you a little bit inside the air, and they actually do get to control where that barrier lands, so they can bring you to them or they can toss you really far away. But outside of that, Wind's not doing like amazing amounts of damage, and it's not allowing you to like combo extend very crazily. Now the arc does stun, which is very nice if you're able to land it, but I feel like the only time you are able to really land it in a fight where people are moving very fast around you using like fake out trills like Phantom Trick or phase steps is just like having to land the arc. I think the only time you can land it is if you block break your opponent. Wind is good if you can land the arc, but comparing it to all these other Shikais, yeah, it's not going to be very common. And the last Shikai is going to be Beserk. Now, this was my first Shikai, and if I'm being honest, I'm just going to put Beserk at the... I'm going to put it in the middle of A tier in front of Shadow. Now, I kind of feel like Shadow is better than Beserk, but Beserk is... it's good. Let me just say that it's very good. The main reason as to why I'm confused on like where to put it is because Limit Breaker inside Shikai, I'm not sure exactly on what it does. I think it either gives you extra damage and defense boost when you have Limit Breaker on, or it gives you hyper armor on your skills. I'm not sure. People have just been saying that for like a little bit amount of time, but even though both of those buffs are extremely good, It's just that the one skill in Beserk that is kind of mid to me is just the second part of Rageful Leap. The first part of Rageful Leap, it does like a down slam or just like a crash on the ground that makes your opponent get knocked. It's just that when you leap inside the air and you're actually dashing back to your opponent, they're not knocked anymore, and you can just hold block and block the second part of Rageful Leap. I feel like if the second part of Rageful Leap block break, it would be very good, but all it does is just inflict like 50% posture damage, which is good, but it's not like that's the best thing. I am really surprised that the second part of the leap doesn't guard break, and it can be used as a really good chase skill if your opponent like has their back turned to you. But outside of that, it's just okay. Like Beserk is definitely a really good Shikai, but the Rageful Leap doesn't really do that much, and the flurry skill is just good because it helps to get your stat counter up. But this right here is going to be my official tier list of the Shikais ranked against each other. So if you just skip to this part of the video, there are timestamps below to just see me explain the specific Shikai that you're looking for. But this is my tier list of the Shikais ranked against each other. So remember, this is only the Shikais against each other. So don't comment, bro, you put creation in B tier. I clap ice users. No, you don't. And this is just the Shikais ranked against each other. And this is my tier list of the Shikais just in general inside the game. So this tier list is the one for just Shikais in general, and I think this tier list goes to show how good everything is. So what this tier list basically means is that this is Shikais compared, or like Shikais that you're pairing them up with like specific builds, or Shikais when you're comparing them to resurrections, vault standings, or just all skills in general inside the game. This is my tier list of all the Shikais. Anything to me in like A and above, if you have any type of tree that supports it the right way, it is disgusting. It is extremely disgusting. So like anything in SS plus, you know, each of these things have like specific builds, like water kendo, flame speed, thunder speed, ice speed, ink speed. I don't know what goes with blood. It is nasty. Or you could do like confusion speed, berserk speed, shadow kendo. Yeah, it's really just kendo and speed. You can also go crazy with like flame hakuda, but just in general, this is my tier list for all the Shikais in the game raw, and the other tier list is just for them when they're against each other. But hopefully you did enjoy this video. Comment your tier list below, because I actually am interested to what people rank their own tier list. I will leave a link inside the description to the tier list maker if you want to make one yourself. Outside of that, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. I am about to go back to grinding for my Bankai because I really want it. So if you don't like or subscribe, your Bankai progression is gonna get doubled. Yeah.